I can't imagine two artists and two arrangements that are further apart from each other. But nonetheless, this is the exact same song with an almost identical top-line melody. I'm talking, of course, about the 9 Inch Nails song, Head Like a Hole, and the recent Miley Cyrus, why can't I say that? And the recent Miley Cyrus Ashley O cover from the show Black Mirror. In this video, we're gonna analyze and compare the arrangement of these two songs in order to find out what effect arrangement and the presentation of musical ideas will have on your audience, and how you can select an arrangement that will best connect with your audience. Let's get to it. Hey, learn audio engineering. I was absolutely blown away by this episode of Black Mirror. It was one of my favorites by far. It brought up some real issues in the music industry about the control of intellectual property and how far technology has come to be able to synthesize the most human elements of music: voice, performance, and composition. This episode revolves around hit teen pop idol Ashley O, played by Miley Cyrus. To her adoring fans, it seems like she has it all. But a peek behind the scenes shows us that her image, music, and entire brand message is controlled by a parent company. Gee, that sounds familiar. I was shocked to find out that many people actually disliked this episode, mainly citing Miley's role as the reason and disliking the trite, cliche-sounding pop song, perhaps speculating that she was trying to push her new single in an episode of Black Mirror. And many people that I talked to had no idea that it was a cover of a 9 Inch Nails song. What? How do you go from fist-pumping, grungy, industrial dance rock to 2019 watered-down bubblegum ditz pop? Just like that. This is what we're gonna figure out in this video. We're gonna analyze the lyrics and the musical arrangement of these songs to see how they cater to different genres and different audiences. We'll also compare them to my 5-point checklist that most hit songs have in common. Let's start with the lyrical content in both these songs. Just about all the rhyming words are the same, but the lyrics have a much different focus. On a Roll focuses on the self. Its main message is that I, Ashley O, am crushing it as a pop idol. So relatable. This is a message that may resonate with younger fans looking for a positive role model. After all, that's the target audience, while making everyone outside of that demographic sick with its insincere corporate message. I think one of the big turnoffs of Ashley O's lyrics is that they seem pandering to the youth that she wants to empower. Her brand seeks to ignite a fire of determination in her young, naive audience, but her message comes across as sugar-coated and selfish. Seeing a pop star flex about how great they are is a really hard thing to identify with.
I just told you who I thought I was, a god.
It can appear that they have everything that you don't, and it can create envy, which lends haters to believe that their fame was just handed to them without the required effort. Contrast this with Head Like a Hole, a song calling out people in a position of power who use their position to gain control, money, and obedience from those weaker or less fortunate than them, a theme still very relevant in 2019. This is a song of betrayal and wanting revenge against your oppressor, whether that's a boss, an abusive lover, or a tyrannical government, or whatever entity of power. It's a theme that many people can identify with and pump their fists to in agreement. It's a human condition and an emotion that many of us have felt. This theme parallels the show as the worst fears of the 9 Inch Nails songs are realized. Ashley O is chemically comatose and sucked of her musical creativity to feed her parent company's need for cookie-cutter, feel-good pop tunes. But don't even get me started on that scene where they're editing in some futuristic DAW. It's kind of disgusting how they portray music production as a one-knob fix-all solution. Ah well, it still looks better than dealing with Avid. Next, let's compare the musical elements that make up the arrangement of each song. Head Like a Hole was released in 1989. It contains analog synth bass, drum machine samples, electric guitar, all of which support both clean and screamed vocals. Although there are extra percussive layers and textures added in throughout the song, this is very much an instrumentation that could be performed live with a standard 4-piece rock band. Ashley O's modern empowerment anthem is made up of all the trimmings of a high-budget pop production. It features crystal clear vocals that are double-tracked for emphasis, modern drum programming, layers of synths, pads, stutters, and risers that hold the listener's hand and guide their expectations into each section. Both songs predominantly feature electronic instrumentation and strongly reflect the year that they were recorded in. Now let's take a closer look into how both songs progress through each section. Head Like a Hole is in the key of E minor. It has an intro of 24 bars, starts out with percussion and adds kick and snare, and then some vocal, glitch, and guitar samples. Then at the 12th bar, it adds in the analog synth bass ostinato in E minor with a 4 on the floor drum beat, some sprinkler hi-hats, and some snare fills. In the verse, lyrics are added, but the beat continues pretty much the same. In the pre-chorus, a distance sample is added as a texture, and the beat and the vocal continue over that E ostinato bass. In the chorus, double-tracked guitars are added, alternating between the 1 chord and the 4 chord every 2 bars. The vocals are more aggressive and feature the highest notes in the song. The melody of this song features the E minor pentatonic scale, a staple in rock music, and it's also used over major chords, E major and A major. This gives us a crunchy, dominant 7 sharp 9 sound between the competing thirds on the E chord, which adds some tension to the most powerful section of this piece. Then in the post-chorus, there's another great minor pentatonic riff that's harmonized against the 1 chord in major. Then we return to that synth bass riff intro and repeat the form. It's minimalist yet powerful and effective. The song is dripping with late 80s nostalgia, both in its wet analog sound and its patient approach towards developing an arrangement. On a Roll has a 4-bar intro with a short, glitchy snare sound that's simple and unique, and it plays through the E flat, D minor, G minor chords with a bouncy, syncopated feel. There's also more movement in the harmony in this song. That's something to be aware of. And there's some glitchy ear candy coming in to fill the gaps in the rhythm, and we only get the kick on the first downbeat. In the verse, we get this double-tracked, hard-panned vocals on the "Oh honey," and all the other lyrics are panned center. The beat pretty much continues the same. In the pre-chorus, we go to halftime. The kick plays a sparse, syncopated pattern, and this is one of the most notable sections that has been reharmonized for more movement in the chords. Then intensity builds with a riser that drops out on the last 2 beats right before the first line of the chorus, which is... Right, man, Charlie Brooker is the best troll. Okay, so then the chorus, we go back into regular time, which makes it sound much more upbeat and danceable than the previous section. This chorus sits on the tonic chord and repeats that same 2-note melody for each line, and the vocals are double-tracked and hard-panned. In the post-chorus, we modulate to major. They reharmonize this G minor pentatonic melody with chords in C major. The B flat in the melody over the C major chord gives a mixolydian type sound. And again, the vocals are double-tracked and hard-panned. Then we repeat the form. So actually not so different after all. Last year I did a video on 5 things that all of Max Martin's #1 hit songs had in common. So I was curious of how these 2 versions might stack up against those 5 must-haves for a pop hit. The first one was the chorus start time. All of these songs hit the chorus in less than 1 minute. Ashley O hits that chorus in under 40 seconds in true pop fashion, whereas Head Like a Hole is just starting verse 1 and doesn't make it into the chorus until 1:15. Many rock and metal songs in the 80s had longer intros, and they were in no rush to get to the chorus. On a Roll is also almost 10 BPM faster than the original, a commonly used remix trick to make a song sound more danceable and to hit the chorus faster. Seriously, listen to any remix by Sieb. They also introduce one sound at a time, and this is where the 9 Inch Nails version really shines. It does a great job of growing and developing the tune throughout that long intro, whereas On a Roll is much more condensed. Instead of slowly adding each instrument throughout an intro, sounds are added throughout each section to maintain listener interest and to gradually fill the frequency spectrum as the song approaches the chorus. They're also easy to understand. Both of these use fairly simple vocabulary that is easily understood below a 4th grade reading level. Admittedly, I actually learned a new word from the Ashley O song.
Verve.
Most hit songs have very simple harmonic structures of between 3 to 6 chords. There are only 2 chords in the 9 Inch Nails song, E major and A major, the 1 chord and the 4 chord, with most sections sitting just on the tonic chord. Ashley O's version has a whopping 9 chords and periodically modulates from G minor into C major in the post-chorus. Now, most of these extra chords are used to reharmonize the melodies in the verse and the pre-chorus. This added complexity isn't necessarily a good or a bad thing. While both versions support the melody, Ashley O's reharmonization helps her version fit into a more 4-chord sound that many modern pop songs revolve around. Whereas the repetitive nature of the original song is a common technique used in club-oriented music where danceability and groove are the main driving force. I mean, who needs reharm when you've got a dope pentatonic riff, am I right? Popular songs usually have very short, unique intros. Ashley O's version is a 4-bar intro with some unique sounds that I would say is definitely recognizable, whereas the 9 Inch Nails version is 24 bars. It's slow building, but it's definitely recognizable and unique. So you're probably wondering, how can I apply these ideas to my music? How can I write songs that connect with my audience without sacrificing my artistic integrity? Now, a great song doesn't have to fit into some arbitrary pop formula to be great. There's something charming about one person, a microphone, and the truth. And that's what we get in the 9 Inch Nails version. There's an obvious human element that hasn't been ironed out with pitch correction and quantization. When you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. With the power of DAWs, it can be tempting to fix every tiny imperfection in the pursuit of audio perfection, usually because you feel you need to in order to compete. Some artists will even front load their songs to catch a passive listener's attention on a streaming playlist, putting the chorus or the most memorable section closer to the beginning to hook a listener and keep them listening. This has been referred to as the Spotify sound, and it's nothing new. In fact, front loading your album is an old trick if you plan on applying for awards. Since judges rarely have the time to listen to every album front to back, putting your best material first gives you a better chance of winning. When thinking about lyrics, write about something that your audience will identify with. Personal experiences resonate stronger if they're relatable. And realize that it's often the melody and the shape of the lyric that will ultimately sell the song more than the lyric itself. What do you think? Does the formulaic approach constrain the creativity of music? And will the general population ever have the patience for 90-second intros again? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So what's next? If you'd like to learn more about popular song arrangement, I recommend that you watch this video next. It's a detailed look into what all 22 of Max Martin's #1 hit songs have in common, and how you can use those 5 tips to see if your song checks those boxes. In the future, I'm going to do a video about Max's 22 #1 hits and compare them with the Beatles' 27 #1s, because I think that would be really interesting to see how popular music form has changed over the last 60 years. If you guys want to see that, subscribe and turn on notifications to stay in the loop when I release fresh content. I've got some exciting stuff planned this summer, and I'm really stoked to share it with you guys. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.